नमस्ते प्रणाम गीता ध्यानम् ॐ पार्थाय प्रतिबोधितां भगवता नारायणेन स्वयं व्यासेन ग्रथितां पुराणमुनिना मध्ये महाभारतम् अद्वैतामृतवर्षिणीं भगवतीम् अष्टादशाध्यायिनीम् अम्ब त्वामनुसन्दधामि भगवद्गीते भवद्वेषिणीम्। O Bhagavad Gita, with which Lord Narayana himself gave enlightenment to Arjuna. The ancient sage Vyasa included it in the Mahabharata. O Goddess, showerer of the nectar-like knowledge of non-dualism contained in your 18 chapters. O my affectionate mother, the destroyer of rebirth, I meditate upon thee. Krishna Vandana. Vasudevasutam devam Kansachanuramardanam Devaki Paramanandam Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum. Son of Vasudeva, the slayer of Kansa and Chanur, extreme delight for Mother Devaki, O Lord Krishna, the supreme teacher of the universe, my salutations to you. Srimad Bhagavad Gita, the 6th Adhyaya Dhyana Yoga, and today we are going to read is the 40th shloka. In the previous verses, in the previous shloka that we read, Arjuna had raised his doubts. Having heard to the process of performing the meditation, to the process of focusing the mind on the self and getting that self-realization, what Sri Krishna had taught, Arjuna had these two doubts. And he had the biggest, the most practical doubt he had was, supposing he asked Krishna that if somebody following your advice, whatever you have spoken, whatever you have taught, he gives up all his attachment to the worldly enjoyments and he becomes detached. In that detached spirit, he starts the process of meditating upon the self. In spite of that, if he doesn't succeed, then that fellow is neither here nor there. Neither he is enjoying his worldly life, nor he has become a man of self-realization. He has become a man of enlightenment. He has become a man with the illumination of the ultimate knowledge. What is the use? What will be the condition of that person, O Krishna? Tell me. And then the previous shloka that we read, the 39th shloka, that Arjuna finally, he takes up the position of total Sharanagati. He has totally surrendered himself at the lotus feet of the Lord, and he said, Etanme samshayam Krishna chetu marhasya sheshataha. Asheshataha chet. You destroy this doubt of mine so that not even a trace of doubt remains in my mind. And why I am asking you to do this? Tvadanyaha samshayasyasya chetana yupapadyate. Nobody in this universe is fit enough, is capable enough to remove my doubt. Only you can do it. And therefore, Arjuna has totally surrendered at the lotus feet of his friend, philosopher, guide, Sri Krishna. Now, what Sri Krishna has to say to his beloved disciple? In this 40th verse that we are going to read today, Sri Krishna says, Sri Bhagavanu Vacha, the blessed Lord said, Partha naiveha namutra vinashastasya vidyate nahi kalyana krut kaschit durgatim tata gacchati. O Partha, O son of Pritha, O Arjuna, na eva iha na amutra. Na eva iha, neither here in this world, na amutra, nor in the next world, This was the doubt Arjuna had raised. He's neither here he is able to enjoy, nor hereafter he is able to enjoy, because he has not attained enlightenment. So Krishna says, it isn't neither here nor there. Vinashaha tasya vidyate. He will never have to face that kind of dilemma. That person will never have to face that kind of destruction, that he has neither enjoyed the world nor he has gained enlightenment, if he has worked on the right path. If by doing the proper practice and non-attachment to the worldly enjoyment, he has followed that path. He has followed that path with the right spirit of abhyasa and vairagya. It isn't that there is no destruction for him, neither here nor hereafter. There is no destruction for such a person. Na eva iha na amutra vinashaha tasya vidyate. Then he won't be destroyed at all. He won't be harmed at all. That person will be intact. Nahi kalyan krit kaschit. Nahi is verily not. Kalyan krit. He who does good, who he is on the right path shown by me of the abhyasa and vairagya, who follows this path, kalyan krit, nahi durgatim tata gacchati. He will never get into difficult times. He will never get into a bad state. He will never get into facing any grief. He doesn't matter even if he doesn't gain the illumination. But if he is on the kalyan krit, if he is on the right path, if he is following my guidelines, the process that I have indicated of fixing the mind on the self, maybe he may not be able to fix it totally. Maybe he may not be able to realize his oneness with the Almighty. Maybe he may not be able to realize the oneness of all the beings as connected with that Paramatman, all the Jivatmans connected with the Paramatman. He may not get that, but his life is not waste. That is the assurance Sri Krishna is giving in this verse, that neither here nor there that person has to suffer any destruction. If he is following the right path, if steadfastly he is following the right path, then there is no durgati for him. There is no bad time for him. There is no pitiable condition for that person. The Blessed Lord said, O Partha, neither in this world nor in the next is there destruction for him. There is no destruction for him. So what, he hasn't got the enlightenment. So what, he hasn't got that ultimate knowledge. But there is no destruction for him. For the doer of good. For the person who has treaded the path of righteousness with the abhyasa and vairagya, the path of non-attachment, remaining detached from the worldly affairs, performing all his duties and everything, and trying to fix the mind on the self. Even that try, that is good enough for him to avoid any kind of destruction here or hereafter. And then he says, oh my son, never comes grief to such a person. Now, here in this shloka, Sri Krishna has addressed Arjuna in two ways. One is Partha, the son of Pritha, son of Kunti. Partha, na eva iha namutra vinashaha tasya vidyate. Here he has addressed Arjuna as Partha. And in the second line, when Krishna is giving that assurance of nahi kalyana krut kaschit durgatim tata gacchati. If he is following the right path, he will never ever get into bad times, into bad condition, durgati. He will never face. Oh Tata. Now here Krishna is addressing Arjuna as Tata. Now Tata basically is addressing someone with great love. Tata, the literal translation is father. But in Indian languages, such words which are used to refer to father or mother, they are also with great love and affection used to address the younger ones, like sons or daughters. Like in some of the Indian languages, like Bengali or Marathi, father is addressed as Baba. Now, sometimes, at times, even mothers, they address their sons as, oh Baba. Now, Ma is normally the word used for mother. But at times, even the daughters, with great love and affection, they are called, oh Ma. Like that. Now, Krishna is addressing Arjuna as Tata. No, not figuratively as, oh father, no, but, oh my son. Here we have to remember one thing, that in the 39th shlok, Arjuna had taken a position of a total Sharanagati. He had surrendered himself at the lotus feet of the Lord, saying, only you can remove these doubts which have come to my mind. Nobody in this universe is capable, is fit to clarify my doubts. So now that Arjuna had become totally, he had given himself up to Sri Krishna. Sri Krishna also, with all the love and affection, he very assuredly tells him, oh my dear son, don't worry. The person who is walking the right path, the person who is doing good, who is following my instructions to the core, there will not be any durgati for him. He will not face any bad times, even if he hasn't got enlightenment. All he has to do is follow the path. Follow the path steadfastly, follow the path persistently, follow the path with great perseverance. Have no doubts. Just with that faith in mind, just with that belief in the Lord's words, keep on following the path. Sometime or the other, he will reach the goal. Now, what Sri Krishna here points to say is further will be elaborated in the next verses. Basically, if not here, maybe in the next life. And that's why he says, Sri Krishna says, na eva iha, na amutra vinashasya vinashaha tasya vidyate. For that person, neither here nor there. Tomorrow, even if he gives up his body and goes to the heavenly world or some other world, there won't be any destruction for him. He will be carrying forward with him all the accumulated pluses, all accumulated good things he will carry with him. There won't be destruction for him. The word Tata means father. It is father who has become a son. Now, we explained, we saw that in the second line of this verse, Krishna addresses Arjuna as Tata. Now, that was with a very great affection. The disciple is to the guru like that of like what a son is to the father. So, from that perspective, Sri Krishna has addressed Arjuna as Tata. Therefore, it is customary for the Guru to address the disciple as son or as Tata. The Lord addressing Arjuna this way is a mark of the flow of grace. And this indicates that affectionate bond that has developed between Sri Krishna and Arjuna. Arjuna has totally surrendered. And it is only Krishna now who has to lift him up, who has to boost up his spirits, who has to give him all the confidence through love and affection. It is open to people to inquire whether this world is intrinsically good or bad. God it is that is revealing himself as the phenomena. Whatever we see good or bad in this world, when we see bad, we get confused. Why is God doing like this? Whenever we see anything good, we are happy that yes, it is God's doing. But bad, we can never accept it to be God's doing, isn't it? So, in reality, what happens? It is God that is revealing himself as the phenomena. The good and bad, God is there in both of them. The world, therefore, cannot be anything but good. It has to be. Viewing it as filled with evil is a misnomer. From our perspective, things are good or bad. From our perspective, things are smooth going or evil way. But from a child's perspective, a child doesn't see anything bad in this world. All the badness comes as a part of the child's growing and picking up things from the external world. Oh, this is good, this is bad, this is moral, this is immoral. And those impressions, they keep on getting stronger and stronger as the child grows. But just imagine that innocent mind state of the child. It doesn't have good or bad. That innocent mind state of the child, it doesn't have anything holy or unholy. For the child, everything is one. One of the profoundest pronouncements of the Lord is, the doer of good never comes to grief. That is the statement Sri Krishna has made in this shloka. Kalyana krit kaschit durgatim na gacchati. One who is always following the path of good, one who is always following the path of Shreya, than prayer. That person, that can never that person will never have to face any grief. That person will never have to face, never comes to any bad times. And the devotees of the Lord are ever the standing testimony to this fact. For the devotees of the Lord, whatever happens in their life, it is all God's doing. And if it is God's doing, there can be no sorrow, no grief, no pain, no negativity in that. Because whatever God does to us is for our good. A sadhaka who slips from yoga never falls to a state inferior to what he has already attained. So whether I am successful in getting that ultimate knowledge, whether I succeed in getting the enlightenment, or whether I succeed in the realization of unity of this lower self with the higher self, even if it is not successful, an attempt towards it never goes waste. That sum effect, the sum total of all these effects, it gets carried forward of all the good things done. Ultimate result, that it has to be seen later. But the effort must go on. The practice must go on. The abhyasa must continue. So this is what Sri Krishna has told, and Sri Ramakrishna has further clarified this point that Sri Krishna has made. Sri Ramakrishna said, a man gets his due in tune with his mental makeup. A man gets his desert in tune with his mental makeup. The Lord is the Kalpataru, the fabled desire-fulfilling tree to the devotees. So, don't lose hopes. Even if you don't get, you will definitely get it at some point of time. At some point of time, if not in this life, in the next, if not in the next, in the next. After all, God is the Kalpataru. There is that the mythical tree that you go to the tree, wish fulfilling tree, and you ask for anything and you get it. So Sri Ramakrishna says, Lord is the Kalpataru. You will all your desires of enlightenment, of knowledge, of illumination will get fulfilled the moment the right time comes. So Sri Krishna says that no effort is ever wasted. Keep on performing. Keep on doing the abhyasa with the spirit of vairagya, and sometime or the other, don't get dejected. If you don't get in this life, that doesn't mean you quit the practice of doing meditation. And in this connection, I also remember a teaching of our Holy Mother Ma, Sri Sarada Devi. One of her disciples had asked her, Mother, when will I get the vision of Master? When will I get the realization? And to that, Ma had replied, keep up your practice. May not be, if not in this life, in the next life. If not in the next life, in the next life. But continue your practice of japa and meditation. Continue your practice of abhyasa. Continue your abhyasa with the detached spirit. And you will succeed, if not in this life, in the next, in the next, in the next. So that is what Sri Krishna has given the assurance to Arjuna in this 40th shloka of the Dhyana Yoga, the 6th Adhyaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Sri Krishna Arpanamastu. Jai Sri Ramakrishna. Jai Thakur, Jai Ma. Jai Swamiji.